Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. So I had reacted to um, some left-leaning videos, um, Democrat policy supporting videos, and I was sort of critical, so people were upset. So I thought, I think I'm fairly independent, so I thought maybe if I react to some right-leaning videos, maybe people will kind of calm down in the name calling and assuming I'm a partisan hack. I did just react to a Prager video before, but it wasn't really political, so we're going to try this one. I thought it might be particularly interesting because a lot of people I react with on YouTube were international people, which I love to hear from. Um, People I love to hear from around the world. I'm not even speaking English correctly. I love to hear from people around the world. Anyway, um, so is Denmark socialist? I can't remember if I've seen this or not, but let's check it out.
I'm a citizen of Denmark, the Disneyland of socialism, where everybody is happy and healthy. Forget the Soviet Union, Cuba, Venezuela, and all those power-mad Marxists who got it wrong. Denmark is a model to follow. There's just one problem. It's a fantasy. For it to be true, Denmark would have to be a socialist country. But it's not. If it were, it would have gone Venezuela a long time ago. Sorry to bring all the new fans of socialism the bad news, but that's the reality. Yes, it's true that Denmark has high taxes and a high level of government spending, key features of a socialist mentality. But in almost every other respect, Denmark is a full-on free market capitalist country. And it has some of the strongest protection of individual property rights in the world. And it's a particularly easy place to open a business. According to the World Bank, there's less bureaucratic red tape in Denmark than in any other country, except for New Zealand and Singapore. And
In Hong Kong, I think.
the labor market is less regulated than in most countries. Here's something you probably didn't know. There are no minimum wage laws in Denmark. It's not surprising then.
All right. All those people who have been criticizing on my other videos, talking about how bad America's is in terms of socialist stuff and minimum wage. No minimum wage in Denmark. We at least have a minimum wage. Anyway.
Or maybe it is surprising, given all the misinformation out there, that Denmark ranks consistently as one of the top-ranked free market economies in the world by the Fraser Institute in Canada and the Heritage Foundation. So if Denmark is not a socialist country, what is it? The answer is pretty straightforward. It's a small capitalist country, about the size and population of Maryland, whose citizens pay oodles in taxes in exchange for oodles in benefits. Well, what's wrong with that, you might ask? Only this. For the government to pay out such benefits, you need citizens to make enough money to pay the necessary taxes. And that's only possible through a free market economy. Let me explain with some Danish history. Denmark, like its Scandinavian neighbors, Sweden and Norway, made a remarkable economic recovery after the Second World War. The combination of a highly productive workforce and, get this, low taxes created a lot of wealth. So, like every other wealthy welfare state, Denmark became wealthy before it created the welfare state. Relative to Europe, Denmark's economic high water mark was in the 1950s. Relative to the US, it was in the early 70s. It was then, in the late 60s and early 70s, that the country's ruling elite became preoccupied with wealth redistribution. But the price paid for this social experiment was steep and swift. The expansion of public spending led to a severe economic crisis. The national debt skyrocketed. It took decades of consolidation, structural reforms, and curtailing of welfare schemes to straighten out this mess. This is the stuff you never hear about from the Danish model crowd. The sharp tax hikes and spending also sparked a widespread popular revolt and led to the emergence of the tax protesters party, Fremskridtspartiet. Even though the party no longer exists, the widespread desire to cut taxes remains. It's worth noting that the welfare state originally began with government pension payments to the elderly. These social security-like payments are now in the process of being overtaken by private pension savings plans, the Danish equivalent to a 401k. That's right. In reality, Denmark is gradually moving away from US-style social security. It can't afford it. Denmark, the so-called socialist model, is returning the responsibility for retirement savings back to its citizens. And what about healthcare? Free, right? Nothing is free. Danes pay for their healthcare through their high taxes. Private healthcare insurance is available, however. It's becoming more and more popular as long wait times associated with government-run medical care becomes less and less popular. But in a welfare state, education is free, right? Well, that's another thing about free. It doesn't mean ideal. Almost 1 in 5 parents in Denmark chooses to send his or her children to private schools, paying part of the bill themselves.
I find it hard to believe that the difference is that drastic, but I'd like to hear from Danish people, maybe. If any Danish person watches this.
To private schools, paying part of the bill themselves. Yes, college is free, and even includes a living allowance. But there's a growing problem of getting students to graduate. Many wish to stay students and be supported by the state. One of those welfare state problems.
Again, so I just realized this may be another bad video to react to because I don't know if how true or if these things are true. I apologize for jumping out so quick and saying, there's no minimum wage. Maybe the video's wrong. I don't know. But I'd like to hear. I was just joking around too. I'm not trying to be like, in your face. But anyway, I'd love to hear a Danish response to this.
Socialists don't like to talk about. And again, all this free stuff comes with a price. The average Dane pays 50% of his income in consumption and income taxes. That's right, I said 50%, while earning 15% less than the average American. After taxes, an average American has a 27% higher disposable income than a Dane. Don't get me wrong. Grey winters aside, Denmark has much to recommend it. It's just that being a socialist paradise isn't one of them. I'm Otto Brons Petersen, economist for the Center of Political Studies.
Okay, yeah, I don't really have a great response to this because I don't know how accurate the claims are. But to be a little critical here of something I do know is that, they say the average American income has 27% more higher disposable income. If Denmark is anything like Norway, their middle class is likely larger than America. So, if you say the average American, if you're doing that by median income or mean income, right? Average, like the total number divided by the amount of people. Most people make less than that number in America, where it's the mean and the median are probably closer than in for Danish income than in America. So I would say the average American, if you look at the, I believe it's the mean, might be higher, but if you look at the median, I'm guessing it's far lower than that of a Dane. So just if anybody doesn't know, I'm quite certain median is like the number right in the middle of the highest earner and the lowest earner, and the mean is like the averaging of all. Like I said, taking the whole GDP, then dividing it by the number of people. So if there's a huge amount of ultra wealthy people in a country, it'll really skew that number for the average. And I think this is probably much more prevalent in America. I don't know for sure, but I do know that a lot of times in these countries without a minimum wage, that the lowest wage usually that someone will get is generally higher, or generally around that, or possibly higher. for Scandinavian countries than the minimum wage of America. So that's a. But I would say that kind of goes toward. You could say then that maybe is points toward free markets, letting free markets take over. There is sort of a weird thing that I just found out about Norway, in which there is apparently a lot of negotiations amongst industries and companies that where they talk about what the wages should be for each person, and then they kind of either cut jobs that if they can't pay, or if that doesn't make the company profitable, or they will raise the wage, or both. There's just a lot of negotiation apparently. And so I don't know if Denmark has something like this. I don't really know if to name that free market or not. I don't know exactly how that was started, but either way, if I would say probably if the lowest wage that someone would get is higher than that of the minimum wage in another country, then it seems as though the market has taken hold and has eliminated those low-paying jobs. So it seems to be kind of a check, kind of a plus for free markets. And I would question. My biggest question is like how prevalent are things like this, where people just kind of live in the education system or live off of the government is. I think it can be a slippery slope. But I do think that in societies where people are generally more mentally healthy and intelligent, that these are more viable options. Whereas America has a lot of low intelligent people, and low intelligent people generally tend to not strive as much and try to kind of get the low-hanging branches. And who can blame them if it's a complex society and difficult to get around? Then you might as well just try to get what you can, you know. So anyway, I don't know if that was a really good analysis. I feel like it wasn't that good, but give it a shot. I'll try one other video, maybe something more focused on America, and I'll try to give my opinion. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you want. I'd love to hear from a Dane if they think that this is accurate. So yeah, thanks for watching. Love ya. Take care.